Well, this painting has been in our family for over 90 years. It was given to my great-grandmother by Norman Rockwell. My great-grandmother was his aunt.
And what do you know about the painting?
Well, it's a 1919 Collier's cover from March of 1919, and that's about all I know. We just love it.
Artist Norman Rockwell, born in 1890 and passed away in 1978, is one of the most celebrated American painters of the 20th century. He was renowned for his ability to tell heartfelt, nostalgic stories through his art, stories that capture the humor, innocence, and everyday spirit of American life. From a young age, Rockwell showed exceptional artistic talent. He left high school to study full-time at the Art Students League of New York and became the art director of Beau's Life magazine at just 18 years old.
And this picture was called The Little Model. This is an oil on canvas, and here we see this young woman. She has the tattered stockings and the broom, and she's imitating this image of this much fancier lady in this fashion poster on the wall. And here's her faithful dog, who probably can't wait for her to quit posing. It's always great to have a dog in a Rockwell painting.
The painting The Little Model, created in 1919, was featured on the cover of Collier's magazine, one of only 4 covers he made for them. This oil on canvas depicts a young girl in worn stockings and simple clothes, holding a broom while imitating the pose of an elegant lady in a fashion poster on the wall. At her side, a patient dog waits for her to finish her little act. Rockwell's genius lies in his storytelling. Through the contrast between a girl's modest reality and her dream of beauty, he evokes themes of innocence, aspiration, and imagination. The painting reflects the optimism and idealism that define much of Rockwell's work, celebrating the dreams of ordinary people.
So I would think in today's market, you would want to have a replacement value on this of about $500,000.
Better get more insurance.
So are you surprised to hear that?
Yeah, very surprised.
Thank you so much for bringing it in.
Wow, I didn't realize.
My friend Forrest Best gave it to me in '62. I used to work for him. He lived at a bait camp where he sold bait fish for fishing down in Chinquapin, Texas. When I got married in '62, he gave it to me as a wedding gift.
And Forrest Best is the artist,
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
And you knew him all through the years?
Yes, we did way back in the early '50s. And before that, I knew his mom and dad, the whole family.
Forrest Best 1911 to 1977 was a visionary modernist painter from Day City, Texas, entirely self-taught. He lived a reclusive life on the Gulf Coast, working in his family's bait shop while painting vivid, dream-inspired abstractions. His art blended mysticism, psychology, and symbolism, reflecting the influence of Greek mythology, Freud, and his own personal visions. Discovered in the late 1940s by the influential New York gallerist Betty Parsons, who also represented artists like Jackson Pollock and Mark Rothko, Best gained recognition for his deeply introspective and highly original work.
We have a Betty Parsons gallery label and the price of $150. The title here is listed as number 30, whereas in the artist's hand over here on the stretcher, it says untitled.
Right.
So it's possible that Betty decided to title the piece.
Yeah.
The painting clearly reflects Best's inner world, using heavy impasto, touches of silver leaf, and even sand mixed into the paint. He created a textured, almost tactile surface that evokes the materiality of dreams. The driftwood frame, crafted from pieces found along the beach, ties the artwork to his coastal Texas roots. This piece, marked by the Betty Parsons Gallery label and originally priced at $150, likely represents one of the abstract dream paintings for which Best became known. The symbols, the layered texture, and the handmade frame together express a haunting balance between the physical and the spiritual. Today, such works are rare and sought after, often valued around $75,000, a testament to Best's singular vision and enduring legacy in American modernism.
If this were being sold in a gallery that specialized in 20th century and this period, I believe that the asking price would be in the range of $75,000.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
I would never believe that. That is unbelievable.
We thought you'd be surprised.
I would be, blown out of my, it's just unbelievable.
This painting was done by Demetrius Jameson, who was my father. Dad did this in, I believe, around 1947 when he was a student at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri.
The artist in question appears to be Demetrios George Jameson, 1919 to 1996, an American painter known for his figurative expressionism and his influence in the Pacific Northwest and Oregon modernism. He taught at Oregon State University and was active in both Missouri and Oregon. Jameson studied under Max Beckmann at Washington University in St. Louis, absorbing elements of German expressionism, notably strong contrasts, psychological depth, and somewhat symbolic or mysterious human figures.
The painting is an oil on canvas, and I want to turn it around for just a moment to see some, but she's not going to turn around, just the painting.
Maybe.
Maybe. So on the back we have an original looking carved frame.
Yes.
Was that something your father did as well?
He made that, yeah, and he did the design on the frame as well.
So we have the artist's name here, and also Parasol,
Right.
the name of the painting.
The painting described dates from about 1947. It retains hallmarks of early modernism and surrealism: a lone, enigmatic figure with red hair and a vivid green skirt. Broken architectural elements like crumbling columns and cracked concrete. A mysterious, crumpled paper floating in the composition. The combination of surreal, dreamlike imagery and the more grounded, structural elements demonstrates Jameson's early experimentation, melding human presence with symbolic, architectural desolation. The original carved frame, which the artist himself designed and built, further underscores the personal and intimate nature of the work. Given its rarity and originality from this formative period of Jameson's career, it is appraised for insurance around $15,000 United States dollars, a reflection of both its artistic and historical significance.
It was my grandparents. It hung in their home since I can remember. Then it went to my mother, and then it went to me.
Where did your grandparents get it?
My grandfather had a storage and moving company in Oklahoma City, and somebody couldn't pay their storage, and he got the painting. I think my grandfather got it late 50s, early 60s.
This painting has been identified as a work by Robert Wood. Robert Wood, 1889 to 1979, was an English-born American landscape painter celebrated for his luminous depictions of the American countryside. After moving to the United States in 1910, he traveled widely and eventually settled in Texas during the 1920s, where he became known for his iconic bluebonnet landscapes. Later, he lived and worked in California, particularly in Laguna Beach and San Diego. Wood's oil paintings, especially his bluebonnet scenes, captured the beauty of nature with warmth and clarity, earning him immense popularity. Due to the high demand for his art, millions of reproductions were made, helping define the bluebonnet school of Texas painting. Over his lifetime, he completed more than 5,000 works, leaving a lasting legacy in American landscape art.
Do you have any idea what the value on this might be?
Not on this one, no. I've seen other bluebonnet paintings appraised for around 15 to 20,000, but that's all I know.
Bluebonnet subject matters for Wood are really amongst his most desirable works. So I think if you were to have this in a retail gallery, the asking price would be around $50,000.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I did find that 1917 New York Times article. The ship was a cargo ship, a schooner, and it was carrying lumber actually from, I guess, Naples, Florida to New York. And it hit a series of storms, and most of the crew was lost at sea. The New York Times article said 3 people survived and gave a detailed account. It's a fascinating ship, and it's a fascinating artist. The artist is Solon Badger.
Solon Badger, 1873 to 1919, was an American artist celebrated for his ship portraits. He was largely self-taught, apprenticed at an early stage to a trunk maker, and boarded with the ship portrait painter William P. Stubbs as a youth. Badger worked primarily in Massachusetts, and many of his paintings are inscribed with Charlestown, Mass., the location of his studio. This particular painting depicts the 5-masted cargo schooner Marcus Elurin, once owned by the family of the painting's present holder. Inscribed on the reverse is Charlestown, Mass., affirming its connection to Badger's base of operations. The ship is shown under full sail, each mast flying a flag, including the American flag, a detail that tends to increase interest and value in maritime art. The painting is all on canvas, with rigging often rendered in pencil. Notably, the work is in untouched, original condition, which is rare. Any restoration or cleaning might have removed the soft pigments Badger used on the sails and rigging. Its provenance is strong inherited in the family, and its dramatic story, the vessel was wrecked following storms en route from Naples to New York, enhances its narrative appeal.
In 2008, there was an auction sale where another 5-master came up for sale and made about $25,000. That's the auction market. I would insure this for closer to $35,000.
$35,000. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I don't think I realized how special it was until now.
My uncle had purchased it from an antique store or a flea market or something, and he had passed away, and it was brought to me.
Okay, so you inherited it from
Yeah.
him. Now, was that recently or?
2005.
Okay. And what do you know about it other than its beautiful apples?
Well, it's Stanley S. David, and I've never heard of him before.
Okay.
Stanley S. David was the pseudonym of the artist David Scott Evans, who was born in 1847 and died in 1898. He was an American painter known for his refined technique and subtle wit. During his career, he often experimented with his name, signing works as D. Scott Evans, or under pseudonyms like Stanley S. David. Though he was best known in his time for painting elegant portraits of young women in Victorian interiors, his trompe-l'oeil still lifes, works that fool the eye through illusionistic realism, have become his most celebrated pieces today.
We've got the apples sort of hanging here by strings as though they're hanging in front of a cabinet door. And he's very cleverly, as he's attached this business card here with a tack, we see the shadow that the tack purportedly makes fall on the business card. We see the shadow from the light that's created underneath the business card. The work is oil on canvas.
The painting brought in for appraisal, titled Prize Apples, is an excellent example of his skill in illusionistic composition. Rather than depicting traditional fruit arrangements, Evans painted apples hanging from strings against what looks like a wooden cabinet door, creating depth and shadow with meticulous precision. He even included a painted business card bearing his pseudonym, giving the work both wit and personality. Executed in oil on canvas, likely during the 1880s, this painting showcases Evans's mastery of light, texture, and composition. Today, his trompe-l'oeil works are far more prized than the elegant portraits he was known for in his own time. Paintings like this can reach auction values of around $12,000 to $22,000, reflecting their enduring charm and technical brilliance.
It was my grandfather's. He purchased it from the artist Burgers and Zen in 1935.
Do you have it hanging on your walls?
We do in kind of a dusty place, but we really love it. I know that Zen was originally from Sweden, and he's an American Impressionist.
The artist is Sven Birger Sandsson, born in Sweden in 1871 and died in 1954. He emigrated to the United States and became closely associated with Kansas, where he taught for many years at Bethany College in Lindsborg. Sandsson is best known for his bold, colorful landscapes of the American West, particularly scenes from Colorado and Utah, rendered with thick impasto brushwork and striking color contrasts.
If you look at it, you see these contrasting colors. You see these almost sort of chartreuse against the lavender, and then these little points of fuchsia coming through here. And all those liven the piece up. As well as you get in close, you see these points, they're almost like cresting waves. And that's important as well, is the great condition of it. Even though it's dusty, we got all this dust on here, we'll blow some of that off. It hasn't really been touched.
Right.
The painting mentioned, inscribed Bear Lake, Logan, Utah, Lindsborg, Kansas, 1935, is one of his well-known works from the mid-1930s. The inscription reveals that it was inspired by his time in Utah, but likely painted later in Kansas. In this piece, Sandsson's mastery of color and texture stands out, contrasting hues like chartreuse and lavender, touches of fuchsia, and vigorous strokes create a sense of movement and vitality. The heavy impasto technique gives the surface a sculptural quality that captures the shimmering light and rugged beauty of the western landscape.
You have the original receipt, is that the case?
Well, it's a corner from my grandfather's checkbook. And he paid $200 for this painting in 1935, October 23rd.
Because the painting has clear provenance, purchased by the owner's grandfather in 1935, with the original receipt, and is in good condition, its auction estimate of $40,000 $60,000 is credible and reflects Sandsson's growing recognition among collectors today.
I bought it in Crane, Missouri, and we've had it almost 50 years. I give the guy $2,500. He said he needed a new barn worse than he needed this picture.
And what do you know about the artist?
Just what's on TV. I mean, computer.
Okay, well, the artist's name is Charles Zachary Landel. He was born in 1812 in France. And the picture is also inscribed Algiers because it was painted in Algiers.
Charles Zachary Landel, 1821 to 1908, was a 19th century French painter known for his Orientalist, genre, and portrait works. He studied at the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris under Paul de la Roche and Ary Scheffer, and traveled many times in North Africa, especially Algeria, where he painted local life, women, and landscapes. This painting, inscribed Algiers, was created during Landel's stay in Algeria. It portrays a woman returning from the market with flowers, a scene that captures the charm and vitality of everyday life in North Africa. The work reflects Landel's fascination with light, texture, and cultural detail, combining the grace of academic painting with the warmth and color of Orientalist art. Its careful composition, along with the authentic subject matter, reveals Landel's skill in balancing realism and romanticism. Today, this painting holds not only aesthetic appeal, but also significant historical value as part of the broader 19th century European interest in the East.
Well, I think if you were to sell it at auction, it might bring between $25,000 and $35,000. And if you wanted to insure it, I would insure it for $40,000.
Well, that's not too bad.
My grandmother gave them to me. All that I recall is that she had purchased a set of 9 panels from an antique flea market.
Do you own all 9 of them?
I do. I only brought 3 today.
They are done by a Scottish artist named Dorothy Carleton Smith.
The artist in question is Dorothy Carleton Smythe, 1880 to 1933, a distinguished Scottish painter, illustrator, and designer closely associated with the arts and crafts movement and the Glasgow School of Art. She is also regarded as one of the Glasgow Girls, a group of women artists working around the turn of the 20th century. Smythe served on the faculty at GSA and was unanimously named its first female director in 1933. though she sadly passed away soon afterward from a brain hemorrhage.
These are wonderful little mixed media paintings. There's a number of things in them. There's oil, and she's incorporated some mother of pearl and little glass beads. They're done on wood, and this one has actually got a few age cracks, which is just typical of what you would have happen with wood. One of the most charming things about these is that she did the frames too, and she's done them in a lovely arts and crafts style.
Smythe's panels are notable both for their subject matter, Shakespearean scenes, and for her technical approach. The works you mentioned are mixed media panels on wood, combining oil paint, mother of pearl inlay, and glass beads, with frames she also designed in an arts and crafts style. This integration of frame and surface, plus the choice of theatrical literary themes, is typical of her holistic design sensibility. In her Shakespeare series from 1905 to 06, she merges narrative content with decorative detail and texture, thereby creating small but rich tableau. The slight age cracks in the wood are natural for the medium and can enhance the authenticity. Because these panels are signed, dated, and remain in their original frames, their provenance is strong.
We would expect them at auction to probably go each one somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000.
Oh my God.
So if you have a set of 9 and they're all this quality, you certainly have a lot to thank your grandmother for.
Yes, I'm very shocked.
For insurance value, I would probably go on the high end of that. It'd probably go 6, maybe even slightly more.
Okay.
These were my father-in-law's. He was in Mexico City staying at the Regis Hotel in 1933 and discovered that an artist by the name of Fujita was staying in the same hotel. So he talked to the bell captain and arranged to meet Fujita, and the bell captain made the arrangements, and after he met Fujita, he bought this drawing directly from Fujita.
Tsugaru Fujita was a Japanese painter born in 1886 and passed away in 1968. Educated in Tokyo, he moved to Paris in 1913 and quickly became part of the vibrant art scene, befriending Picasso, Matisse, and Modigliani. Fujita was one of the first Japanese artists to successfully blend traditional Japanese techniques with Western modernism, creating a distinctive and elegant style that brought him early fame. Known for his eccentric personality, signature white cats, and refined portrayals of women, he enjoyed great popularity during the 1920s and 1930s.
You have two very different works. This is a small drawing of one of his favorite models, Madeline, or she's known as Maddie, and this larger depiction of a young Mexican boy holding his hat. He's really known for his wonderful depictions of women and beautiful women.
The two drawings mentioned reflect different aspects of his art. One portrays his favorite model, Madeline Maddie, and the other depicts a young Mexican boy. The drawing of Madeline embodies Fujita's signature style, delicate, graceful, and infused with quiet sensuality. His refined line work and gentle shading capture the serene beauty and emotional subtlety typical of his female portraits. In contrast, the beau's portrait, while larger, emphasizes realism and local character rather than elegance. Although the subjects differ, both works display Fujita's mastery of form, balance, and emotional restraint. Today, such drawings hold significant historical and artistic value, each estimated at around $10,000 $15,000 at auction, a far cry from the $5 paid for one of them in 1933.
It's a painting of twins that was probably done posthumously because they died a week apart in 1849. And they were the twin sons of my late husband's great-great-grandfather, who was a physician in Lebanon, Ohio.
And you also have, and you brought with you, the funereal notice for the older son, William.
That was the custom, to send an invitation to the funeral, and it was for the older son, William, the firstborn, and then the other one died a week later.
This touching portrait of twin bows, painted around 1849, is attributed to Marcus Moe 1817 to 1898, a self-taught artist from Ohio. The painting was likely created posthumously after the twins' deaths, only a week apart, when they were 22 months old. Moe, who also painted their father, Dr. Charters, around the same time, captured the children with tenderness and simplicity typical of early American folk portraiture. The composition emphasizes innocence, their matching attire, small toes, and the charming little bunny evoke a quiet sense of loss and affection. The original frame, period to the work, enhances its authenticity and emotional resonance.
I think that an Ohio collector would probably pay a retail price somewhere in the $6,000 to $8,000 range.
Oh. Wow. Oh, that is an awesome ending to a very sad story.
My mother-in-law was given this picture in 1964 and 1965. When I married my husband in '79, it was always been in the house. I made a big joke of it that I really liked this picture, and if anything happened to her, I wanted it. My mother-in-law got sick a couple years ago, and before she died, she gave it to us, me and my husband, and we took it and had it cleaned and restored, and it's been hanging in my living room for the last 2 years.
Right.
She did tell me it was supposed to be someone famous, and I did do a little research on him, and he does have pieces of art in big museums.
We haven't said who the artist is yet. Do you want to enlighten us?
It is Irving Ramsey Wilds.
Irving Ramsey Wilds was born in 1861 and died in 1948. He was one of the most prominent American portrait painters of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Trained by his father, Lemuel Maynard Wilds, a landscape painter associated with the Hudson River School, Irving later studied at the Art Students League in New York, where he was deeply influenced by the great artist and teacher William Merritt Chase. Their friendship had a lasting impact on Wilds' style, characterized by lively brushwork and a refined painterly touch.
And this is a very attractive little oil on canvas, probably dated around about 1905. Wilds was a very painterly artist, and we can see, for example, the bravura brushstrokes that you associate with him down here, just in the ripples in the water. And the whole form, it's a very appealing painting. The frame looks to me to be original to it.
You think so?
It's certainly of that period, and it works well with it, and I think it should be kept with the painting.
The painting presented here is a small oil on canvas, likely created around 1905. It showcases Wilds' mastery of light and texture through fluid, confident brushstrokes, especially visible in the ripples of the water and the soft atmospheric tones. While Wilds is best known for his elegant portraits of fashionable society figures, this work demonstrates his sensitivity to composition and mood, capturing a serene and balanced scene. Its original frame complements the piece beautifully, preserving the charm and authenticity of its era. Today, works like this are highly valued, with similar pieces by Wilds fetching between $15,000 and $25,000 at auction.
It was in a small bookstore on the mall in Lahore, and I loved it, and I didn't buy it the first time I saw it, and then I couldn't get it out of my mind and went back. We were teaching at the Lahore American School, and so we didn't have a lot of money, but I decided I was going to buy it anyway, and I did, and I've loved it ever since.
This painting has been identified as the work of Abdur Rahman Chutai. Abdur Rahman Chutai (1897–1975) was one of Pakistan's most prominent and influential artists, often regarded as the country's national artist. Born in Lahore during the British colonial period, Chutai combined traditional Mughal miniature painting techniques with the flowing elegance of Art Nouveau and the spiritual depth of Islamic art. His style is instantly recognizable, marked by delicate curving lines, intricate patterns, and luminous color schemes that evoke both grace and mysticism. Chutai's art frequently celebrates everyday life, poetic beauty, and the female form, while subtly reflecting the political and cultural changes that shaped the Indian subcontinent in the 20th century.
You have this main figure in the foreground here, hunched over with his bag of sticks. He's wearing the typical robe dress of the period. He's hunched over due to the weight of his materials. Receding in the background, you've got at least two more figures who are retreating into the beautiful design of the imagery. It's quite lovely. The print was most likely made between the 1950s and the 1970s, I'm guessing, by the style of the printing and the imagery, but it's clearly looking to that 1920 style.
The artwork brought to the show, Kashmiri Woodcutter, is a dry-point etching typical of Chutai's mature style. It depicts a humble laborer hunched under the weight of a bundle of wood, his simple row and curved posture rendered in expressive, flowing lines. Behind him, two smaller figures fade into a softly patterned landscape, blending realism with decorative rhythm. The composition conveys both hardship and dignity, turning an ordinary scene into a lyrical expression of endurance and beauty. Created most likely between the 1950s and 1970s, the work looks back stylistically to the 1920s, when Chutai's signature line work reached its peak refinement.
I think that was a pretty good investment. I would estimate an auction estimate right now between probably $7,000 and $10,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That's fun. Oh, that's exciting. What a treat. My husband's just going to be so excited.
This painting came to me from my uncle's auction after he had passed away. This painting was in an earthquake in either San Francisco or just barely outside of San Francisco. And they were selling all of the artwork and everything off of the street.
Oh my goodness.
And my uncle bought this and 2 or 3 other paintings. And after he passed away, this was auctioned off, and there was only one other bidder on it, and I purchased it for $50.
This elegant painting of Venice's Piazza San Marco was created by Ivan Elinsky 1878 to 1962, a Russian-born American artist celebrated for his refined American Impressionist style. After immigrating to the United States, Elinsky studied at the Art Students League in New York, where he developed a unique blend of American and European Impressionism. This particular work, dedicated to his patron Mrs. David Gray in 1915, expresses gratitude for her support, which allowed him to travel and study in Europe. The painting's loose brushwork, shimmering light effects, and atmospheric depiction of Venice reveal Elinsky's mastery of color and mood. Still in its original Venetian frame, the piece not only reflects the artist's skill, but also the enduring importance of patronage in art.
He's an important American artist. It's a lovely image of a scene that is always popular, Venice, and American artists painting in Venice. For auction, I would probably estimate it at between $4,000 and $6,000.
That's nice.
My aunt passed, and I ended up helping to manage her estate. She was a collector of all sorts of things, and these 2 pictures were among them.
Well, what you have is a pair of Japanese woodblock prints by Hiroshi Yoshida, who's a Japanese artist who was born in 1876 and passed in 1950.
Hiroshi Yoshida was one of Japan's most celebrated woodblock print artists and a key figure of the Shinhangan New Prints movement, which revived traditional printmaking with modern sensibility. Yoshida was not only a skilled printmaker, but also a painter in watercolor and oil. Fascinated by nature and travel, he journeyed widely from Japan to India, Europe, and the United States, capturing landscapes with luminous color and serene atmosphere. The 2 prints mentioned here were created in the 1920s and both bear Yoshida's hand-signed signature and his Jizuri seal, meaning printed by my own hand. This confirms their authenticity and rarity, especially since one is a rare double-sized print produced in a limited edition of fewer than 100. The delicate tonal gradations and precise detail reveal Yoshida's masterful fusion of Japanese aesthetic harmony with Western perspective and light. Even after decades, the works retain their subtle beauty and poetic calm, hallmarks of Yoshida's timeless vision of nature.
As is, without restoration, the print's worth perhaps $4,500. But with the restoration, which is going to cost around $300, but well worth it, then
Absolutely.
The print is between $5,000 and $6,000.
Wow, very cool.
That would be a retail price, and this would have a value of, right now, in that condition, it's fine, of about $2,500.
That's great. Thank you very much.
found this painting at a garage sale. The gentleman was asking $100 for it, and I ended up talking him down to about 50 bucks for it.
50 bucks?
Yeah, he was a college student, needed some money.
It's an original oil painting. It's on a linen canvas, and it's unstretched. That is to say, not only does it have no frame, of course, but it is loose without a wood stretcher, which would be serving as a support for the painting.
This painting was discovered at a garage sale and bought for a modest sum, but it turns out to be something special. It's an original oil on linen, unstretched, with visible creases, signs that it is largely unrestored and still in close to its original state. The signature in the bottom right confirms attribution to McCain. Buck McCain B., 1943, is an American painter and sculptor best known for his vivid works in the Western genre. He grew up on a cattle ranch in Southern California. He's a fifth-generation rancher. Although he took some pre-med and philosophy courses, McCain taught himself much of his art, supplemented by brief formal studies and time spent in Europe.
What do you think is going on here in this painting?
It's the crucifixion of Christ, and you see the three crosses as well as possibly Mary located right up there looking up at Christ, and they're gambling for his garments.
McCain was largely a self-taught painter. I mean,
Okay.
his background, his family background is in cattle ranching.
Okay.
The subject is powerful and somewhat enigmatic, the crucifixion of Christ, with three crosses, possibly Mary, and soldiers vying for Christ's garments. What makes this painting stand out are the dramatic theme and the strong visual pull. The eye is drawn to many points, and the composition may feel overwhelming at first, which lends emotional intensity.
I think at auction today, we would probably value your painting by Buck McCain at $2,500 to $4,000.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. It's a really interesting painting.